We're back with Alden Chodash of AldenBoxing.com. Alden, on Saturday night, Juan Diaz dominates Julio Diaz. Not the way that you expected things to turn out. What do you think went wrong with Julio's strategy?
The fact that he fought in close with Juan Diaz, which of course he could have did a better job of preventing by using his boxing skills, but I think the main factor of the long strategic fight by Julio Diaz was the fact that Juan Diaz used a lot of pressure combined with his quick hands and his tight defense to promote a slugfest that Juan Diaz ultimately prevailed in. I mean, other than Julio Diaz, there's not too many great threats to Juan Diaz in the lightweight division. I mean, Nate Campbell, I think he's overrated. He's too old and too slow to beat Juan Diaz, and Joel Casamayor and David Diaz both aren't quick enough to beat Juan Diaz, and so I think Juan Diaz is at the top of the lightweight division right now. And although Anthony Peterson's actually ranked 1 in the lightweight division, WBO, I think there's a while before he gets a title shot, which probably would be Juan Diaz's toughest test to date.
You think Anthony Peterson, let's say that they could make that fight for early next year, does Peterson, to you, seem to be the only serious threat to Juan Diaz?
If they make the fight early next year, I don't think he'd be as big a threat as he would if they make it in about 2 years from now. I mean, he's quick, throws a lot of punches, and he's strong. He's similar to Juan Diaz, and he's a little younger, and he's a bigger puncher.
Okay, so right now you don't see any major concern for Juan Diaz staying undefeated.
I know Joel Casamayor would provide somewhat of a test, more than Julio Diaz and Acelino Freitas did, but I think he'd overtake Joel Casamayor in the late rounds. Casamayor, Corrales may have just been a fluke. I mean, he wasn't impressive up to that fight, and he hasn't fought since he has been active for a while, since the Corrales fight.
Okay, moving on to upcoming fights. On Tuesday, October 16th, Alfonso Gomez taking on Ben Tacky, the rugged Ben Tacky, who went 12 rounds with Ricky Hitman Hatton. Alfonso Gomez, Ben Tacky, what's your feelings on that contest?
They're both rugged. It's a perfect matchup, and I think youth will prevail in Alfonso Gomez. He's younger, and he's a better boxer than he was when he fought in the first series of the Contender. And Ben Tacky was never a great boxer. He was always just a tough, strong fighter, and I think he won't be as strong as he was at his best, and Gomez should take a decision.
Okay, also on that card is the Contender winner of that year, Sergio Mora. He's facing Elvin Ayala, whose only 2 losses coming to this year's Contender contestant, David Banks. Sergio Mora, Elvin Ayala, what do you think of that fight?
I don't know too much about Ayala, and Mora's not a great middleweight, but I'm expecting Mora to win a decision. He's fighting the Ayalas, the division, for a long time. It's time for him to step it up.
Okay. And later on in October, Edison Miranda coming back from his in his first appearance since the loss to Kelly Pavlik. Edison Miranda taking on Henry Porras. Do you like Miranda to turn his career around after his devastating loss to Pavlik?
Yeah, it's the kind of fight that made Edison Miranda into the fighter he is right now. He's a huge puncher, and he should put that on display probably in the early rounds, if not the first round, against Henry Porras.
Okay, also on that card, James Buddy McGirt Jr. Have you seen Buddy McGirt Jr.? And if so, what do you think about him?
He's not a big puncher. He's pretty slick for a fighter with very little experience against good fighters, and he's a good southpaw, and he could fight on the outside, and he's taller than the average junior welterweight.
Okay. In November, on the undercard of the Joan Guzman-Humberto Soto fight, scheduled to fight on that card is Abner Marais versus an Argentinian fighter, Damian David Marciano. First of all, do you like Abner Marais? And what do you think of his chances of going on to make some serious noise in that division?
He was an accomplished amateur, very accomplished. He went to the Olympics. And it's also time for him to step it up. And Marciano is obviously not a big step up, but it's a chance for him to showcase his skills on national television.
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to see that fight, but we may. It's just been scheduled and it's not officially on the TV program.
Well, I definitely would want to see that fight, not because it's a great matchup, because I just want to see Abner Mare in action.
Okay.
He's been very inactive in his professional career.
Also on that card, again, may not be on TV portion, but Demetrius Hopkins in his comeback fight. Do you like Demetrius Hopkins? What do you think of his future?
I think he has the skills to become a champion, and he's very inconsistent. I mean, he scored an impressive one-punch knockout against a good fighter one night, and then he'll come in and come in with feather fists against another good fighter like Steve Forbes, who I thought won the fight against Demetrius Hopkins. Hopkins is a good tall fighter, but if he's still inconsistent like he is right now, I'm not sure how far he's going to take it.
Okay. Announced recently on the Floyd Hatton undercard, Jerry Panaloza, Daniel Ponce de Leon 2. Do you think that Panaloza can turn the tables this time?
No, I don't think so. I thought, I'm being honest, I thought Daniel Ponce de Leon won the first fight just from his activity, and Jerry Panaloza rocked Panaloza on several occasions. He just didn't open up enough.
What, Panaloza rocked De Leon, you mean?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah. Panaloza rocked De Leon on several occasions, just didn't open up enough. And Ponce de Leon showed that he's multi-dimensional. When he can't knock someone out, he can outwork them through 12 rounds, and that's what he did, although he lost at least 5 rounds, but I thought he still won the fight.
Okay, and Jeff Lacey's scheduled to make an appearance on that card as well. What do you think Jeff Lacey's chance of getting back in the big time?
He's a solid super middleweight. He should be beating the same fighters that he beat at his best and in impressive fashion, but it's definitely not one of the best super middleweights in the world. And I'd like to see him fight a good fighter to see how good he is right now.
Okay, and in January, scheduled, Paulie Malignaggi is taking on Herman Ngojo, the fella that gave Jose Luis Castillo a tough time a little while back. Malignaggi, Ngojo, what do you think of that fight?
It's different to look good against Jose Luis Castillo, who we saw against Ricky Hatton's a shot fighter, very slow. It's a lot harder to look good against a fighter so quick at his best like Paul Malignaggi, who moves around and has a stiff jab. I don't think Ngojo is going to have a great chance in that fight at all. He's flat-footed. He's a good, solid boxer, but Malignaggi's speed should make the difference, as it would against many top junior welterweights.
You really like Paulie, don't you?
Yeah, he's a good fighter. I think he's the best in the junior welterweight division right now.
Okay, great. Thanks, Alden, for talking to us, and we'll see you soon. And remember to check out aldenboxing.com. Bye-bye.